This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
All right, we're joined with the Naperville Central diving coach, David Likar. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
Looking ahead, we just spoke with Sydney Dussel, and just looking at what Sydney's done in her 3 years at school, is she kind of one of those once-in-a-lifetime athletes that coaches get the opportunity to coach?
I wouldn't maybe say once in a lifetime, but definitely once in a decade. Talent coming out of her ears, but not just that, the work ethic that she has as well, and the desire to be good and win is something that you can't teach anymore. So that takes her, talent only gets you so far, but that work ethic is really what's taken her to that next level.
And yeah, she said she started diving really in 8th grade, and by her sophomore year of high school, she was a state champion. So I guess kind of adding on to what you were saying, where does natural talent and work ethic end and kind of coaching tweaks kind of begin?
Well, the biggest thing is we want an athlete who's coachable. And what I mean by that is we expect a diver when they're trying something new, whenever they're learning, they're going to make mistakes. But can I coach you, tell you what you need to do, and you make the adjustments on the next rep, the next dive? That's a coachable athlete. There's a lot of divers who you can tell them you need to fix this, you need to fix that, and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. And it makes it difficult. It takes a lot longer. With a girl like Sydney, she understood the language we were using. We have a common language now. I can tell her this, that, and she knows exactly what she needs to do.
And then heading into her senior year, coming off of a state championship, a runner-up appearance as a junior, what are some things you've noticed about her demeanor heading into her senior season?
Well, I think, not winning it last year frustrated her a little bit. I think she's definitely focused on that. I think she's also very focused on where she's going to be going to school next year as well. That sometimes plays a little bit into it because a lot of those recruiting trips and stuff are getting done now. So it's kind of a barrier, but I think ultimately as we get towards the end of the season, her nose will be right back on the grindstone, focusing on that state meet and getting another state championship.
All right, so here at practice though, we talked about Sydney. Who are some other divers, maybe some up-and-comers that you're excited about this upcoming season?
The one thing that was great to see is I graduated 7 seniors last year, and I knew, I still had Sydney, but I needed to find some people who were going to replace those girls because I had a talented squad. I got a good amount of girls. I now have 11 girls total. And, some of them are showing some great talent. It's just kind of harnessing it. The first year is hard because you have to teach them the dives so they can compete, which sometimes you don't teach them all the basics and some of the things that they really need to be focusing on because you're just worried about getting the dives. But I'm seeing some good talent out of a girl named Katie Petro as first-year sophomore diver. Christina McCormick has been around for many years. She's a senior this year as well. And as some of the other girls moved out, she's filled those shoes. So it's good to have her around as a veteran on this team. So I'm very pleased with that.
All right, so you mentioned with some of the younger girls kind of having to teach them some of the dives. I guess for someone not as knowledgeable with the sport, what kind of goes into teaching some of these dives and getting them up to that competitive level?
Well, the biggest thing is the fear factor. I'm asking these girls to do a lot of stuff that they have never done before in a short amount of time. So there's that fear factor, and some of them know how to control that and use that fear to their advantage, some don't, and they're going to struggle at catching up and getting all those dives. There's certain rules that have to be followed in a meet about how many dives from different groups that you have to do, and some of those can be quite daunting and challenging for some of the new girls who just started diving. So trying to get them through those dives and getting them at a place where they can compete.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the students here. How did you yourself kind of get into the coaching role that you're currently in?
I still teach in St. Charles, and I was coaching there for quite a while. Just kind of, stopped doing it for a bit, and it just happened that they had a girls' spot here, and they needed a coach. So I coach club in the area as well over at Neuqua Valley. So I'm out in this area a lot anyway, so I figured I'll take it over. I knew the divers already. Sydney and I had Sophie Heiser. They were some of our club divers over the years. And it was just nice to kind of fall into Naperville Central, and the talent here, the facility here is nice, having my own separate diving well, and just plugging away at these girls. There's a lot of girls who want to compete in diving in this area, and that's good.
And then just looking ahead to the season as a whole, very early in the year, but what are some maybe specific meets or events that you're really looking forward to in the upcoming year?
Saturday we have a diving invite in Matea Valley, and that meet's always an important one because it's our first 11 championship meet format. So I really get a good idea of where everyone is going to be at, especially seeing where Sydney is going to score roughly. And then there's always the Evanston Invite, which is kind of the midterm of the year. It's kind of the mini state meet. Past 2 years, Sydney's won that meet. I don't plan on it changing this year, so that's a good one to see. And you see most of the top-notch divers in the state at that meet. So.
All right, well, best luck this season, and thank you for joining us.
Awesome, thank you.